So the tools you will need will include a nail clipper, cuticle cutter, and cuticle pusher. As you can see, I am starting by pushing back my client's cuticles. By the way, down below, I'm going to be linking all the products I use in this video just to make it easier for you guys in case you guys want to see where I purchased everything. So next, I'm going in with my 240 grit sanding band. I put it at about a speed 4 to 6. You do not want the speed to be too fast because we're just taking the shine off of the natural nail. And you want to make sure you're only lightly, gently filing. You're not trying to remove any bumps or anything like that. Our only goal is to remove the shine off of the natural nail so the tips will be able to stick, and so will the acrylic. By the way, I'm using a Melody Susie e-file from Amazon. I believe it was like $60. I'll have everything linked down below for you guys in case you guys want to purchase anything. I'm going to have my Amazon storefront and just links to everything I used in this video. Because, girl, I don't gatekeep over here. That's why y'all should subscribe. But yeah, so as you can see, I'm just filing very gently and in one direction. You want to make sure that you're filing in one direction, otherwise you could damage the natural nail. By the way, you want to make sure you're taking your time during prep. It is so important because it is what determines the retention of how long your nails last. And I have pretty good retention. My retention is usually over a month. So now it is time to remove the dead cuticles off of my client's nails. So I'm going in with a very sharp cuticle cutter. You can get this on Amazon, Walmart, Shein. Do this very gently. Honestly, as a beginner, it's better to underdo it than overdo it. You do not want your clients walking out of their appointment with bloody cuticles. No, ma'am. I'm only cutting the visible dead skin. You do not want to cut any live skin or anything like that. Be very careful during this step. It's better to overdo it than underdo it, like I said. So now that we have removed the shine off of the natural nail, it is time for our nail tips. So my favorite nail tips are from either Amazon, the Still Libani ones, or from Nails and Blinks. Those are my favorite nail tips. You can also get nail tips from Shein as well for a really good price. As you can see, when I'm gluing on the nail tip, I'm using the KDS nail glue. This is my favorite nail glue. I swear by it. And as you could see, I did not use a nail tip that was too big for the nail or anything like that. It is not overlapping. It is not too small for the nail. It is just right. Next, I'm blending in all the nail tips at a speed 9 with my sanding band. And this just helps the application just be smoother. So the combo that gets me 1 month plus retention is this right here, Valentino Primer Dehydrator and the Young Nails Protein Bond. I do 2 coats dehydrator, 2 coats primer, and 1 coat Young Nails Protein Bond in that order. I personally use the Young Nails monomer. I love it. It leaves my application smooth like butter. I'm also using Perfect Nude by Valentino. Another good monomer, by the way, is Mia Secret. It's pretty diverse. Also, the Dynamic Nail Supply one is pretty good, just the smell is pretty strong. And my brush is a size 14 Kolinsky Chiara Skies. My favorite brushes are either the Chiara Skies or the Pana nail brush from Amazon. Either of those two I love. Here I am showing you guys how to pick up a bead. So you want to wipe your brush facing down against your monomer. And you want to, at a lightly slanted angle, you want to tap your brush 3 times into your powder. You do not want to drag it or dip it. You're tapping it lightly 3 times. For however long you leave it and however much monomer is in your brush determines the size of your bead. After successfully picking up your bead, you want to wait a couple of seconds before you place it down. After you place it down, you want to slowly tap it down. Not right away start dragging it because that's just gonna literally take all the acrylic off of your nail tip. So make sure that you're slightly tapping it because the acrylic is still too runny for you to be dragging it down. And take any excess acrylic off at the bottom. After it dries a little bit, that's when you want to start dragging it down to take off any excess acrylic. In this video, I'm showing you guys the 3 bead method. So your next bead would be your apex bead. This you want to be a medium-sized bead. So you place that right above the bead that you just laid. And you want it to be medium-sized. As I mentioned, it creates the structure of your nail and it helps prevent it from breaking. I let the apex one dry a little bit more than the first bead, and then I simply just dragged it down. My final bead is my cuticle bead, and as you could see, all I did is just drag my brush a little bit, and this is going to be our smallest bead. Again, you place this right above the one that you just laid, and as you can see, I have my client's finger facing down because when you're placing the cuticle bead, you don't want to flood the cuticle because that is the worst thing that can happen to you. That's it, nail ruined. Bam. Nope. So make sure that you have your client's finger facing down, because honestly, gravity does all the work for you. You just honestly got to learn how to let gravity, work with the acrylic. Like, honestly, when you let gravity do all the work for you, it's literally 10 times easier. I personally like to have my nail room at a temperature of 70 to 72 degrees. Something I didn't know as a beginner is that the temperature literally affects the quality of your work, and especially your application, because obviously the acrylic and the monomer create a chemical reaction. If your room is too hot, it dries too fast, which makes it hard to work with. And if the room is too cold, the acrylic is too runny and it takes forever to dry, and you just have runny application. So I personally find that temperature to 70 to 72 degrees is honestly the sweet spot, and it's not too hot or too cold, and it just gives me enough time for me to work with my acrylic. A lot of nail techs like to put the cuticle bead a little bit further away from the cuticle than I am doing, but I personally don't like how the little gap between the cuticle and the nail looks like when it's too far away. So that's why I try to do it as close as possible, but I try my best to avoid flooding the cuticle. That just makes the nails look so messy, and a clean cuticle really gives you really good retention. That's why you want to avoid flooding the cuticle, because a lot of beginner nail techs always ask me, how come my nails are popping off in 1 week and 4 days? Why? It's because you probably have a flooded cuticle and you're not sealing the cuticle during your application process and filing process. If you have a flooded cuticle, it's probably gonna have little gaps where water can come into your client's nail, and that's gonna cause lifting. That's why your retention is probably not that good. And that's why I personally believe that application is the most important thing as a beginner to get down. Before you learn designs, before you learn how to draw a French tip, before anything else, please get your application down, because application is also what helped me speed up my time. Once I had really good application, that's when everything became so much easier. By the way, something that can help you guys learn your powder to liquid ratio is, honestly, on Amazon they sell like these little charts where you can just lay beads, and you basically just practice laying small beads, medium beads, and your large beads. So I really recommend you guys getting one of those charts from Amazon or from wherever you can find one of them. But just search up like liquid to powder ratio nail practice bead sheets, and you guys will see some sheets where you guys could literally just practice laying just different size beads. In case you were wondering, I've been doing nails for about 2 years now, and honestly, if I could tell you guys one thing, the only thing that's gonna help you get better application is consistency. Practice day and night like a dog till you get it right. It's like I'm just playing, but for real. I'm playing, but I'm not at the same time, guys, because I feel like what really levels up a nail tech is their application. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. And you don't want to be getting lazy on the thumb. I feel like thumbs are actually so important because clients grab everything with them and they're always in pictures, so never be getting lazy on the thumb either. Just because I'm using 3 beads doesn't mean you have to use 3 beads. Sometimes I do the 2 bead method as well, which is just basically doing what I'm doing but with 2 beads. So some people do the 1 bead method, some people do the 2 beads, some people do the 3. But for beginners, I recommend the 3 bead method. It's the most concise and just direct and simple way to just do application. Time for my favorite step. So I drew these little guidelines to show you guys how to shape properly. So as you can see, I drew some in the middle, and then I drew arrows on the sides, going inward. So I like to start by filing underneath the nail, as you could see. And you also want to make sure you're not filing against your client's skin. Okay, a lot of people, what they like to do is called season their files, which basically you take another file and you just you file the side of your file to make it less sharp so you don't cut your client when doing this. And then I filed the top of it, and then I filed the sides, as you could see. That's why I have the little arrows. So first I like to file the middle, then I do the right side, and then I just do the left side. And as you can see, I'm just basically moving my file in a downwards motion, and I'm going in the direction of the arrows, which is inward. Because when you're going inward, you kind of want it to blend in. You want the middle and the sides to blend in when you're shaping. You should be left with this crisp shape at the end, and that's all I do with the file because I seal the cuticles with the E-file. So as you can see, I'm repeating the process again. I'm filing underneath, I'm filing the middle of the nail, and then I'm filing the sides of the nail, going inward with my file. And that is my shaping with the hand file. So now it is time to seal the cuticle, and for this step I like to use the e-file, and I like to use a Pana 5-in-1 nail bit. It is going to be on my Amazon storefront in the description of this video, and I like to turn it up to a speed 10 or 11, around there, honestly whatever you're comfortable with. Me personally, I like claws, so I file under the nail to give it that crisp ass shape. And then I just basically buff out the nail a little bit with my 5-in-1 Pana nail bit. So now it is time to seal the cuticle, and I'm just basically moving in one motion. And basically I'm just going, you know, around the corner very carefully, around the edge of the acrylic. And I'm basically just sealing it in, you know, sealing any little gaps, anything, you know, getting rid of it. Because, you know, I want to make sure no water or anything can get inside of the nail plate to cause any lifting. So I'm getting rid of that and just making sure it is sealed in. And it's also going to give it that super clean, sealed look, which is what we're going for. And again, I like to file underneath because I just love that sharp ass shape. Like, if you tell me to round out the corners, I'm just not the nail tech for you. I'm sorry. By the way, don't mind that nail sticking out of my glove. That's so embarrassing. Now it's time for the buffing. Even though I already buffed it out a little bit with the e-file, I still like to use a real buffer because me personally, I go ham on the shaping. So I gotta make sure I get rid of any scratches. So I have my little buffer right here from Amazon. I put a little bit of oil and then I buff them all out just because I just have observed that the oil helps really get rid of the scratches, you know. Then after I buff them all out with the oil and the buffer, I spray them with alcohol. A lot of people think it's water. No, it's just alcohol. After that, I take a scrub and I just scrub the F out of them basically and remove any dust that may be on them. A little hack for you baddies. So before I draw my fringe tips or any kind of nail art, I always go in with the layer of matte top coat first. I swear by this hack, it has saved my life many times. So try it out. And then I just have my clients cure it. And after that, the nails are literally so freaking smooth. It leaves you with a clean freaking, you know, canvas to work with, essentially. Y'all, I was running out of storage here, so please don't get mad at me, but I did not record a lot of the process of the design because I was mostly just showing you guys, you know, how to build the actual structure of the nail. So yeah, don't get too mad. Okay, so here I'm using a brush from Valentino. My favorite nail art brushes are either the Valentino one or the Winstonia brushes from Amazon. Again, they're going to be in my storefront, in my bio, the description of this video. And the white that I am using is just white from Valentino Beauty Pure. You know, I love their white. Best white I've tried so far. And here I'm just trying a Frenchie. I'm just showing you guys how I like to do it. So yeah. Then yeah, after that, you know, I did that on the pinky, the middle finger, and the thumb. Then I blinked it out and did some super cute flowers. If you guys want an in-depth tutorial on how to do the flowers, just let me know. So now with my Jofinity top coat, it's time to top coat everything. You know, I'm done with the design. I used the Marcat nail glue to glue on my rhinestones, by the way. And then here you go. I am just putting on the top coat. Here's a little before top coat clip or whatever. Super cute. Then after that, I had her cure them for 60 to 90 seconds. And then I'm just going in with some cuticle oil from Amazon. Here I am, you know, hydrating them cuticles and just rubbing that in, you know, getting to it. Okay, so time for the final result. They turned out so freaking gorgeous. Go follow my Instagram if you already don't for more gorgeous nail inspo, guys. I love you guys so much. Let me know if you guys would want a more in-depth tutorial or any videos that you guys want to see from me. Just literally comment down below. I read all of my comments. I love you guys. Hope you enjoyed this mini tutorial. I try to do it as simple and easy as possible, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye. Subscribe. Love you.